Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and completely demystify the honestly overwhelming process of buying carpet, hopefully saving you from some really costly long-term mistakes along the way. If you've ever walked into a flooring showroom, you know exactly what I mean. You're instantly hit with a wall of thousands of swatches, dizzying price tags, and technical jargon that literally sounds like a foreign language. But today, we're cutting through all of that noise. We're going to break down the data, expert insights, and even some amazing insider secrets from professional installers so you can make a choice that looks beautiful and actually survives your real everyday life.
Here is our step-by-step buyer's journey. First, carpet installation costs. Second, choosing the right material. Third, surviving kids and pets. Fourth, hiding dirt and stains. And finally, padding and installation. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. Carpet installation costs. Setting the budget.
So let's tackle the sticker shock right out of the gate and anchor our expectations using some hard data from Thumbtack. Before you fall head over heels for a plush, luxurious sample, you really need to know what it's actually going to cost to get it secured to your floor. The national average cost for carpet installation sits right around $1,158. Generally, you're looking at a range between $610 and $2,221. Now, of course, this fluctuates based on your square footage, whether you have stairs, which installers actually often charge between $3 to $25 per step to cover, and whether you need furniture moved. But this gives us a fantastic, realistic baseline to start from. It's important to realize that your choice of fiber dictates your baseline budget way before you even start looking at colors. Wool is your absolute luxury gold standard, starting at about $3 a square foot. But keep in mind, it does require some serious maintenance. On the flip side, you've got olefin and polyester hovering right around $1. But as we're about to see, price is definitely not the only factor you should consider when choosing your fiber.
Moving on to Section 2, choosing the right material. It's time for some fiber face-offs.
Now that we have a budget in mind, let's cut through the marketing jargon and talk about the materials themselves, because this is where you decide exactly how your floor is going to perform over the next decade. There's this really fascinating contrast between nylon's long-term durability and polyester's plush, budget-friendly appeal. It's actually a debate heavily discussed by flooring experts over on Reddit. Nylon? That's the workhorse. If you put it in a bedroom, you're looking at a solid 15 to 20 years of life, and it bounces back from footsteps beautifully. Polyester, on the other hand, is significantly softer to the touch, which feels amazing on bare feet, but it's really only going to give you 8 to 12 years before it starts showing some serious wear and matting down. So you're essentially trading lifespan for softness and a lower upfront cost.
But what if you want to step up a tier and don't want to compromise? Well, Triexta is a newer, high-end, synthetic alternative you should definitely know about. What makes this fiber so fascinating is that the stain resistance is built directly into the fiber itself. It literally doesn't absorb water, meaning spills just sit right on top rather than soaking in. It effectively bridges the gap, giving you that incredible durability of nylon combined with the luxurious softness of polyester.
Regardless of the fiber you end up choosing, you absolutely need to know how to spot quality in the showroom using two key metrics, density and TPI. You can actually check density yourself. Just push your fingers into the carpet and try to feel the backing. If your fingers hit the backing easily, that's low density. If the carpet fights back, you've got high density. It is a fantastic insider trick to gauge how well the carpet will withstand heavy traffic. Furthermore, TPI, or turns per inch, is exactly what it sounds like. The more times a fiber is twisted, the better it's going to hold its shape over the years.
All right, Section 3, surviving kids and pets. Let's talk about the mess factor. Let's be honest with ourselves. Life gets incredibly messy, especially if you have a baby, wild kids, or furry friends running around. If you have pets, your carpet is instantly going to become their playground, their napkin, and their scratching post all in one. Understanding their specific habits really helps us see why the physical structure of your carpet is absolutely crucial to its survival. Cats basically act like your carpet is a horizontal scratching post, clawing at those fibers. Dogs, meanwhile, dig in with heavier paws, snagging their nails and tracking in significantly more mud from the backyard. And that brings us to pile, which is simply how the fibers are attached to the backing. If the loops are too long, your pet's claws are guaranteed to catch, causing these irreversible tears and pulls that run right down the length of your room. That makes cut piles, specifically styles like frieze, which has a twisted, almost modern shag look, or saxamy, which is incredibly densely packed, your absolute best bets. They hide dirt well, and much more importantly, there are zero loops for your dog or cat to snag their claws on. Moving right along to Section 4, hiding dirt and stains using some very clever visual tricks. You see, color isn't just about aesthetics. It is your secret weapon for hiding daily grime. You might vacuum every single day, but between those vacuums, your carpet's color is doing a ton of heavy lifting. These multi-tone and speckle patterns act just like visual camouflage, making them the absolute unsung heroes of high-traffic homes. A solid color will inevitably show every single crumb, but a flecked beige or a multi-tone carpet acts like a magic trick for the eye. The uneven surface color scatters light and brilliantly hides footprints, pet hair, and minor stains. If you want a stress-free living room, going with a warm grayish or an earthy brown with a speckled pattern is 100% going to save your sanity.
But wait, before you lock in a design choice, you really need to know which colors will make your daily cleaning routine an absolute nightmare. You might be guessing white, and you'd be partially right, but there is actually another major culprit here.
Solid white is pretty obvious, right? It's a total magnet for stains. But it might really surprise you to learn that solid black is also terrible for hiding dirt, unless you're prepared to run the vacuum every single day. Black carpet acts like a giant highlighter for every piece of light-colored lint, dust, and pet hair floating around your home. It might look incredibly chic in an architectural magazine, but in a real, lived-in home, it is a high-maintenance nightmare.
Finally, Section 5, Padding and Installation, the unseen foundation. Let's look underneath the surface and see how everything we've discussed comes together. This is the final, and I would argue the most important step of the buyer's journey. This quote, pulled straight from a Reddit industry insider, is the ultimate piece of secret knowledge. Even a cheaper carpet will last significantly longer if you invest in a top-tier pad. The pad is literally the shock absorber for your floor. If you buy a luxury carpet and put a cheap pad under it, the carpet is going to break down fast. But if you buy a budget carpet and put an incredible pad under it, it will feel amazing underfoot and last years longer than it has any right to.
So, what should you actually look for? Well, standard padding starts at about $1 per square foot, and for most cut pile carpets, a 1/2-inch thickness is really your sweet spot. But here is the golden rule, folks. If you have pets or kids, upgrading to a pad with a moisture barrier is totally non-negotiable. It ensures that liquid accidents like pet urine or a knocked over glass of wine won't soak through the pad and ruin your wooden subfloor. That's exactly what causes those terrible smells to linger forever. A moisture barrier keeps the spill right on the surface where it can actually be cleaned up.
Now, when it's time to actually hire an installer, follow these exact steps to make sure you get the best price and a qualified pro who isn't going to cut corners. First, decide your material. Second, measure your square footage. Third, and this is key, never settle for the first quote you get. Platforms like Thumbtack highly recommend getting 3 to 5 free estimates. Finally, check their credentials. Make sure whoever you hire is going to properly inspect your subfloor before laying the pad, expertly stretch the carpet so you don't get weird wrinkles a year later, and professionally seam all the edges. You now have the insider knowledge to test density, outsmart pet damage, leverage multi-tone colors to hide daily dirt, and protect your home's subfloor. So as you prepare for your own flooring project, I want to leave you with this final thought. For your next renovation, will you start by picking out the perfect color, or will you start by investing in the unseen foundation? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and we will see you next time.